machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.
Yes, welcome to another daily debate. Today we're talking about El Khannouss. Over the last 24 hours, he's been announced that he looks like he wants to leave Leicester. He's obviously spoke to the club and he said that he does want to join Palace. His release clause has ended, but he's obviously been priced around £30 million. Sam, what's your takes on this? Because I know you were saying that there's certain players that just don't want to be anymore. I think this proves now that he doesn't want to be here because he wants to join someone.
I think you can see maybe in his attitude. I mean, I wouldn't say attitude necessarily because I think he's a fairly quiet person on the pitch, not as vocal as some of the other players. But I think maybe performances, you can tell that his head's not completely there. I said a lot last season that I'm not 100% sure why everyone's. I am going to say glazing him because I didn't think he was that good in the Premier League. I mean, 30 games and 2 goals and 3 assists. For me, it's not £30 million worthy, so I don't think we're going to get that. I think you probably will look between 20 to 25 million from Palace. Rumour is that Eze's going to leave them. I don't know where he's off to. But there you go. And so I assume once they sell Eze, they're going to get El Khannouss, which for me, I think is strange, to be honest with you. I think El Khannouss can be a good player. I just think his football decision's not 100% there. I think he's a bit Riyad Mahrez at the start of his career, quite good at, being skillful, but what can he actually offer? So yeah.
I think he's got the ability to do something good. I just don't think, because he's so young and he's not the proven player yet. He's got errors in him. He's got passes where sometimes look brilliant and sometimes he just loses the ball or he holds the ball on too long. But I get the point of it. I think he will be a good player when he's a bit older and when he's probably in a better club. Again, at Palace, I think is another leap step from even us. If he goes to Palace, he's not going to be the best in the world there. He's going to have to move somewhere else after that, like Eze has now. And if he does move, then it more likely will be El Khannouss that goes. But again, with how he reacted in the fact that he has said to the club he wants to leave, from what we've seen online, that makes me feel like, as much as I did like him as a player, but see you later, because I don't want to play at my club who would rather be at somewhere else and then go plays against Charlton and probably puts 20% effort in than he would do normally.
Yeah, I mean, if we are obviously looking to sell him, it would be interesting to see if he starts this weekend. I mean, we're only on Tuesday right now, so he could be gone by Charlton. But I think the club need to now really seriously need to start making some moves. We've got 11 days, essentially, I think 11, 12 days until the transfer window ends. And we've made no movement other than selling a few deadwood and, selling a couple players. A couple players that you might have considered, like, they'd help us get back up there. Hermansen, that could have helped us, and El Khannouss could have been one that could have helped us as well.
Simon says here, so he doesn't want to be at Leicester. This is the point where I was like, keep him at all costs. But this is where now he's actually come out from what we've seen and said, I want to join Palace.
He'd be crazy not to join Palace. And to be honest with you...
and they are in a European Cup, aren't they? So.
Yeah, of course they are. And I'm not trying to undersell him, obviously, because I wouldn't mind if he goes, for the 25 million, whatever it'll be. But I don't know what Palace have seen in him, to be honest with you, to make him sign. I don't think
he's anywhere near the level of Eze. But again, if you find a replacement, I think he's a good start to that. Again, he's quite young still. So.
I'm not so sure he is the best for 30 million.
But if we're making 30 million out of him,
it's good for us.
It's very good for us.
I don't think it's the best.
Terence here says agree. If anyone wants to leave, just let him go for the best money possible. Yeah, I agree. If he wants to go, get rid. I think this is where people have gone to the point now where now we've actually seen him say he wants to leave or he's spoken to the club. That's where everyone's like, I don't really care if he stays now. This was one player that at the end of last season I was like, we have to keep because
it's happened before, and it happened with Mrez and Fofana. And obviously, I'm not saying that El Khannouss is going to be Mardy if he doesn't go, but he very easily could. I mean, look at Isak at the moment for Newcastle. He's having issues there because he wants to be sold, but they're not happy with the asking prices and whatnot. So it could fall under the same category as us. We can't really be fishing for 30 million if Palace are offering 22 million and that's all they'll pay. And El Khannouss have reportedly agreed to personal terms. It's just Leicester now that's rejected a bid and saying we need more, we want more.
Well, this is where I was very surprised that no one came in for him when the relegation clause was in place because he's a lot cheaper then.
No, that's not how it works. The relegation clause was you have to spend minimum 30 to sign him. But now that there's no relegation clause, they can sign him for whatever they want. It could be 50 million.
I thought his relegation clause was 22 mil, so then people was like, yeah, I'll go for him then.
I think his buyout clause was 30 million, and obviously that's ended now, so clubs will probably be looking to save quite a bit. I think understandably so. I think if someone offered, for me, I'd take 20 million for him because we didn't pay any more than that, so I would be.
As long as you get the money you got for him, yeah.
I mean, how much did we sign for him?
I think 22 or 21. Like I said, that's why people thought the release clause was only like 22 mil. So
yeah, I mean, we're probably looking at breaking some money back, a little bit of even, so probably.
But this is where now, as much as we said, because I think you were saying that now we've sold a lot of players and now we've got some money in the door. That might have just put it back in an even line.
Yeah.
So this is where maybe now where an El Khannouss selling of 20 plus million. Yeah, so that could be the start of right. We've got a bit of money.
It rips away the depth at the club, I think.
Yes, but but if you've seen the depth of the club at the moment, we've got like 30 players in the club.
Yeah, but a lot of them are academy players. There's a handful. For me, the biggest issue is that I still think the toxic players and the attitude problem players are still at the club. I think we're selling for money, but we're selling the players that you would probably consider to be a bit more useful. For the most part, anyway, you would have. I mean, again, I don't want to say names because I feel like there's been a lot of toxic stuff around the club at the moment this past week. So, people have their opinions and whatnot. For me, I still think we've got some players that need to go before summer ends. But I think at this point, I don't think they're going. So we kind of just have to work what I've got. But I do fear, unfortunately, really that if El Khannouss goes, we're not going to replace him. I've got a massive fear that we don't replace him.
Because if we don't replace him, who is our replacement in the club? It's probably Will Alves. Or you go and put someone like Mavadidi in that role and play Monger on the wing, which, again, I don't think is the right thing to do because they're not out-and-out attacking mids, are they? They are, like, putting round holes and square pegs, whatever it's called, or whatever that is, saying is. But,
the way around, close.
Yeah, square pegs in round holes or whatever it is. But again, Steve Bonza says here we'll replace him or just bank the money. Most likely just bank the money because in the position we're in, we don't know what money we're allowed to spend. Because Cifuentes was told when he first came in, he needed to sell before he buys.
You can look at it logically and think,
where's the buy?
Well, I think looking at it logically is we've not sold enough yet to buy.
That's what I mean.
We're complying with PSR rules at the moment. I think if we weren't, we would have signed players by now.
Put Faze in attacking mid. That's a good idea. He knows how to score a goal. Terence here says just don't let Rudkin do the shopping and contract negotiation for new players. I get the point of it, and I said on the little clip I made last night.
I get it. If you're gonna slag off Rudkin, then also praise him for the good stuff he does.
I've said that. That's what I was about to say.
Because he signs good players as well as he signs bad players. That's every.
It's not even just about the good players. I'm not saying just about the good players he brought in, but I'm saying that maybe I think credit him to doing what he's done this summer in getting rid of the likes of Cody and the wages. Vardy, yes, he left, so he's not on him. But again, Ndidi for 9 million, I would probably snap your hand off if he got 5 million for him. Again, these are the certain players where I know they probably would have kept him over the likes of Winks, but
yeah, I mean
it's big money and wages
made
off the
some bad signings, but he's also, if you look at it logically, it's the contracts that are messing us up and not specifically the players. Because we can't get rid of them. We're struggling to get rid of, if we're trying to sell Winks, Sumari, Fies, Skip even, they're all on pretty big earning wages in the Championship. And clubs will go, I don't want Fies, I don't want Skip, I don't want Sumari. They're not good enough for Leicester in the Championship. I mean, the putting them the way they play at the moment in, against Preston, they didn't play amazing games. It doesn't put them in the shop window. If they want to go, they should be busting the bollock to at least put in some good performances and show some good attitude on the pitch. They've not really done that. They didn't do it against Huddersfield. They definitely didn't do it against Preston. They didn't do it against Sheffield Wednesday. I think we got lucky that they got a red card, and that's effectively what made us win the game, get us a last-minute goal, was we were playing with a player advantage. So there's a lot still that needs to happen really in 10 days, and typical Leicester were taking way too long, and I don't think it's going to happen.
The only player we've got in the door is Begovic, and he was free. Obviously, I'm guessing his wages won't be free, but again, when it comes, like I say, people are saying here, we need to get some players in. This is where now we've got 12 days left, maybe even 11. This is now where if Bilal goes, we need some sort of communication between us and says, what are we doing here? Because we can't just keep letting players go and not bringing anyone back in. Because I get the point of we might have 31 players in the squad because half of them are academy players. But again, Monga will fit into that 25-man squad.
I think a lot of them. Yeah, Monga.
So Bobby Reid, where the hell is he?
Monga,
I know he's shit,
wouldn't be in the 25-man squad because he slots outside of the.
Yeah, he'll be in the academy. He's allowed to play.
I think if they're under 21 and English and in the academy, that the class. Oh, I don't know if they have to be English or not. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that academy players
can just
different rules to senior players.
No, I get that, but it's like I said, where's Bobby Reid?
I think he's injured. I think he's still injured. He picked up an injury towards the end of the last season and in pre-season.
Again, another player that we brought on a free, and
he'd probably be all right in the Championship.
Probably would.
If you sell El Khannouss, you probably look, well, we'll play Bobby Reid as your attacking mid then.
There's every chance that could happen. Steve says, apart from the defenders who can't defend, no midfielders and no strikers, we're okay.
We have a lot of tat. We have a lot of expensive tats. You know, you bought it for.
It's like you go into a market and you buy some things that you think are worth absolute fortunes, and you come back and you think, no, that's just a bag of shit.
Sign up the dodgy man out of his boot for 20 million, take it to charity shop thinking you make a bit of profit on it, but yeah, 30 quid, mate, you've been ripped off. Seems to be a lot. That seems to be the only players that want to go. Actually, someone players of half decent quality.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
And that's the one thing I do.
I don't think he'll go. I mean, I say that now. I think he rejected Everton by the sounds of it. Like he wants to stay at Leicester. I think that could turn very quickly. By the way, I think.
Well, if El Khannouss goes, and you might think, oh.
I know that he said that he wanted to stay. But I think he's going to go, expensive tat, that's what we got. Abdul, I think we need to keep him as well. I think he should be good. I mean, again, he's trying to be the star player, the solo hero against Preston. And I think his football brain, we were saying over the week that he's very much like Jeff Schlupp, where he looks like he can do something. Then his football brain doesn't kick in at the right moment. He shoots when he should pass and passes when he should shoot, and vice versa.
Yeah, you've probably tried about 3 or 4 times in the Preston game where you can just score that screamer like you did against Bournemouth and Southampton. That was it.
I would agree that we need to keep him, but I think he could very easily go. I know that it sounded like he was committed to the club, but I think if he looked a little deeper at himself and he asked his agent and said, is there anyone wanting me in these next 10 days before the window ends, I'm sure there'll be some clubs like Everton that say, yeah. I mean, I don't think Everton would now, obviously, because they've just got Grealish on loan. But I can see Fatou going. I know that. I mean, especially after his post really on Instagram, it wasn't, a bit of a kickback to the fans, wasn't it? That went.
No, I get you. I do get you. Before we do finish, then Sam, how many players would you kind of expect or hope for before the end of the window ends? Because we know that the closer it gets to the end of the transfer window, things do kind of maybe spin out of control, and we might buy like 5 or 6 players. I know it probably won't happen, but we saw that, like, say, Edouard, who was absolutely woeful transfer, but he came in on the last day of the season.
Loaned anyone in yet.
But that's what I mean. We are linked with that Benfica midfielder. I know he's not any big rumour, but he's there.
I actually do not know. I think it's very much the same old Leicester story when it comes to windows.
I think Terence is right there. I think once we have a settled squad, things will improve. Well, as in when the window closes, depending on how many players we've got in or not.
I agree and disagree. I don't think we will, because I think if you look at some of the... If Winks is still here, he's probably the best midfielder on paper that we have, but he also, looking at it as well, on face value, seems to have an attitude problem at the moment. And that's just something that's like, well, if your best midfielder and probably one of your most senior players at the club at the moment is having bad attitude towards the fans and towards staff at the club. I don't know if it's towards the staff, but you can see towards the fans, it's definitely not. He doesn't want to interact with them. Didn't interact when he scored against Huddersfield. Didn't interact at the end of the Preston game. Reading into it too much, who knows? Some people might say so. Some people polar opposite. I know there's booing and there's people saying don't boo. The club is just very much in the mess really at the moment, and I think that what we really need ideally is a massive refresh from a lot of the players. And I said it in one of our chats the other day about all the senior players at the club, and not one of them I could say is 100% committed to Leicester and 100% wants to be here. I went through that list, and there isn't one player out of the senior players I could 100% definitely say yes they want to be here and yes they want to.
I think the one player that I would go out and say that wanted to be here as much as he's injured all the time is Ricardo Pereira. I think he's captain. He's probably chosen to be captain for a reason.
Being captain is probably nice, but I think he's kind of stuck to Leicester because nobody wants him because he's injury prone. Yeah. He's just one of those, a bit like Fofana at Chelsea. Nobody would come in and sign Fofana right now because he's just way too injury prone. It's the same for Pereira. Nobody would try and sign him because he could just get injured for the rest of the season. Pereira could play one game against Charlton for 5 minutes and do his ACL and do his knee in again, and that's him out for the rest of the season, which for me is why it's crazy we've made him captain. In my opinion, I get it. I know he probably is the most senior player, but I can't. I don't know how much the
point of giving him captain when majority of the last few games he's not even been in the side, because I know he's been injured, but JJ was captain once, Chowdhury's captain once. It's like there's no consistency. Again, you need someone who's in that team for.
Which is why for me we needed to sign a captain. Is that Brownhill still available?
I think so. I've not seen him. I've not heard anything.
For me, we just need to sign a senior player in the midfield that knows what they're doing. We need that player. Yeah,
Max Liverpool says he's made a wee bit.
He unfortunately is. I mean, we'll get some comments in before we end it. We'll go from the bottom upwards.
Tony does say here, sell for Bilal Khannouss and we don't replace him. The season is over.
The season could be more than over. It
could be ever proven start.
I'm not going to say we could get relegated this season, but wilder things have happened to teams that got relegated and relegated again. Sunderland, Ipswich Luton recently.
No, yeah, I get it.
There's so many other clubs.
Josh Butler here says it's press saying he wants to leave, but the other day he said he was not forcing to leave. Saying if there's someone that's right for him that might be in Europe, think about his options as not Palace, European club. Again, we're not saying it's concrete rumours and saying that he wants to leave. We've heard from reliable sources that he has said he wants to go.
Yeah, we're not obviously saying that he's trying to force him. But once a player says, I agreed to the terms that Palace have presented, that means he wants to go. That is black and white as you need. If as soon as a player says he's agreed personal terms with a different club, we're the people that are holding it back. Palace offered around 20 million, I think, and we said no, but Khannouss said yes. If we said yes, he'd be off there, and the debate would be.
This is where I'm kind of. There's every chance that even if he doesn't go, that he will still commit to the club. In the fact of, and I'll give you the example of someone like Morgan Gibbs-White. He was basically all but done to go to Spurs. He was like, yes, I want to go, want to do this, want to do that. Obviously, things happen, and the legal reason says you can't just come and snatch him like that. And then next minute, signed a new contract with Forest, and they're obviously their owner or whatever has a big contract and things to say or not.
Fat contract.
It's not even just that, but this is where like he was literally on the verge of going to Spurs, and he was happy to leave, and now he's all happy again at Forest. Like, I'm not saying there's a reason for it. But
I think he's fairly local to the area, so I think once obviously Spurs came in and offered him, a pretty good contract, and Forest offered him probably a better contract, he's like, well, I'll happily stay at Forest at least for 1 or 2 more seasons. I'm going to just keep cruising at what I'm doing. He's not that old, is he? So, he's going to do well. A bit like Vardy, some of these players do just kind of want to stick around. And we know that Arsenal was touting Vardy, and then we came in with a pretty good offer and he wanted to stay. Gibbs-White could have the exact same thing.
I don't think... I honestly do believe that if El Khannouss did stay, he'd still be committed to the club. But he wouldn't... I don't think he'd have a tandem and whatnot.
The thing is, you never know.
No, I know he would never know.
It's a 50-50 gamble of if we say, well, we want to keep you, or we don't accept the bids, he could either go, well, I'm not going to half-ass playing then, or he could have a good season. You never know. It happens. You know, you don't know how.
Well, you should be in a place where when we bought him and whatnot, we should have said to him something about, if we did get relegated, we'll only accept a certain amount for you, and if that's not the case, then we'd have to keep you. And that's maybe where he's gone.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, that's fine, because again, we bought you for 22 million. We're not going to let you go for anything less, in my opinion. So
we'll try and make. I think we're probably looking at, I assume, whatever his wages cost for the year, just so we can break even. We'll get a few last comments in before we do end.
Tony said, we have spent 2 million in the last 12 months. Question needs to be asked and answered. Agree, probably.
Yeah,
2 million.
I'll tell you, the question is, why have we spent 2 million? And the answer is because we broke PSR rules, because we've got 20 plus players on ridiculous money that are rubbish, that we can't sell, and we're letting go for free. That would look at. I mean, I think there was probably about 8 senior players that could be going for free at the end of this season that we haven't re-signed yet. I'm not saying we should re-sign them, but that's bad business. I think I worked out. You're looking at maybe 60, 70, 80 million. I think at least it was before we sold in Diddy, because he was one of the ones I think that could have gone for free. So, you know, we've made some absolutely honkers of bad business, and that is on Rudkin and whoever the board, Whelan. They need to sort that out. At very least, Top needs to sort out as well. I think he's in La La Land a little bit, and he's just letting it self-run. I know there's issues with King Power, obviously, over in Thailand. So there's a lot going wrong with the club and the ownership. And I mean, someone did put about being sold. Andy, they're saying time to sell to Turk. I'm
guessing that was a leak of who probably could buy offers, but
not Turkish. I don't know who that is.
That might be a new owner that wants to maybe invest in the club. Or buy the club.
I've said it before. I think it's probably potentially time the King Power does sell. I don't think we're interested, as much as I think Top is trying to keep the legacy going on. I don't think he's 100% in it. I think getting relegated and going up and down is way more hassle than he wants to do, way more hassle than he wants to have, which is why it's just letting Rudkin run it. Familiar face, you know.
No, I agree. Last comment then of the day before we do finish. Keith says, can't blame him. Who would want to play for a club where the fans boo their own players? We won't attract anyone with this kind of behaviour. Again, it's all opinion based. Again, we obviously Phil spoke about it yesterday about boos and opinions and what people think of it. Again, I'm one that doesn't boo when I go to away games, but people pay their money. If people want to boo after paying their ticket, that's more than fair in a way. But again, then you get things like when FaZe comes back at you and goes, why are you booing?
It's two wrongs in my eyes.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit weird to be booing. I mean, Pfizer set himself up, by the way. Booing. There we are. I think booing him first game of the season was a bit wrong. I think the majority of it was boo. I think he heard it as boos, and I think some were booing. Then to give it back to the fans, I think he's kind of opened himself to receive the boos for the rest of the season. Not that I agree with that kind of mentality or attitude, or disagree with it, to be honest with you. I'm fairly neutral on the, I guess the way of seeing it from both sides, from players and fans. But in my eyes, the players are the professionals and they get paid to play, so they should ignore that kind of attitude. And the fans paid to see it, and it isn't good enough. Losing to Preston isn't good enough. Losing to Huddersfield in penalties isn't good enough. Scraping past Wednesdays, it's not good enough. It's not a good enough start. I'm not blaming Marty at all, but I am definitely blaming the players that they need to step up.
No, I agree. But there you go, guys. Again, like I say, El Khannouss does seem like he wants to leave Leicester City for Crystal Palace if Eze does move on to looks like Spurs. But again, all not confirmed, but all rumours around. So before we'd have a debate on what people think about him, I think most people would say that if he doesn't want to be here, then go. And hopefully we can get as much money from him as possible. Appreciate you coming on. Make sure you check out the show on Thursday if you want us to show it up. I'm guessing not. There you go. Check your show on Thursday with Simon and Jono for the Foxes Focus. And then me and Sam will probably be live again for the Tactics Talk ahead of the Charlton game, maybe Thursday as well. And then also check out the Foxes Aftermath show on Sunday after the game for post-match thoughts as well. Appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you on the next show. See you in a bit.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents A variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.